and graduation season is here, and that comes with a lot of angst and insecurity for teens.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's a middle school or high school, easing the pressure for teens during this time of year, it can be difficult. So we're turning to parenting expert Andrea Vallely, who is joining us this morning with some helpful tips on how to address these issues. So good morning to you, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Listen, prom?
Yeah.
Totally not what it used to be.
No.
I mean, I don't remember. We didn't do promposals.
No.
These
I don't remember a red
elaborate
carpet at prom.
Seriously, but like
No.
some of these promposals
Yes.
are so elaborate, and it worries me about what kind of message this is sending to kids,
Sure.
especially those that maybe can't afford something so elaborate.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it sends the message of not enoughness and a lot of like in order to, and that takes away from kids knowing that they're okay no matter what, that they don't have to have this elaborate proposal. They don't even have to have that. They can just go themselves and enjoy it. It's all about learning to be comfortable in your own skin no matter what's going on out there, because if we're so focused on what's going on out there, you know, it's just too much. We can't all have that experience.
How do you tell your kids or teach your kids that it's okay, you don't have to do that?
Yeah, you have to teach them to go back to knowing that they're okay no matter what. You have to teach them to go back to knowing that regardless of what's going on out here, you're okay, that if that doesn't happen, that shouldn't take away from your joy. If we're always focused on the outside, they're always going to be chasing their tail. So for parents, it's really important to point your kid back to knowing that no matter what's happening outside of you, you're okay. You can get creative. There's creative ways to do things that aren't expensive. Exactly. So I think it also helps, you know, it's a great idea to let them think outside of the box. Like, well, how can you make this fun for you?
Yeah. Well, when they see it on social media, that, you know, not just the financial aspects of the prom, because I can't. I mean, some of the cars that their parents are renting for their kids to go to prom are crazy. But then you've got the body issues, and that's a whole other problem.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And again, it's teaching your kid that you're perfectly perfect the way you are, that you're perfectly you. And beauty comes from within. I mean, think about it. When someone feels good about themselves and they're comfortable in their own skin, there's that, they exude beauty. But when someone's super uncomfortable, no matter how they look, if they're not comfortable on the inside, you're going to notice that. So it's teaching them, hey, you're perfectly perfect, you're perfectly you. And from that state of, you know, hopefully gaining this inner confidence or tapping into this inner confidence, they're going to feel okay. And then again, you get creative.
Yeah, and you know, it's also important when you talk about inclusivity. Yeah. When people are, you know, at this age, really understanding their identity. How do you address those concerns about inclusivity? Yeah,
again, it goes back to finding your tribe. You know, finding your tribe, finding your tribe, and knowing that you are okay. We keep pointing back to the same thing. When you're comfortable in your own skin, it's easy to find your tribe. You know, when you have this natural confidence, you know who your people are. It's a whole different ballgame. If we're always teaching our kids that you have to be like somebody else, that's pointing them in the wrong direction. So it's letting them know that their individuality is absolutely magnificent.
All right, let's talk about the end of the year jitters. I mean, aside from prom, you've got graduation coming, and graduation, so I mean, it's a great, you know, the pomp and circumstance and everything, but after graduation, you realize your life is changing. You're moving on from friends if you're going off to college, and I mean, there's a lot of stress there.
Absolutely. I think you have to let your kids go through it. You know, you have to support them through it. Tell them this is normal. Tell them everything that they're feeling is totally normal. It's a huge transition, and I would never say to take that away from your child. You want to support your child through it. You want to allow them to have their emotions, and then you also want to let them know that, you know what, there's a new beginning. There's something new and fresh that is occurring. But let them feel those feelings. You know, we never want to take that away from them. We want to let them, it's a big, big, big deal. It's a really big deal.
Yeah, it's hard because they always compare themselves to others. When they look at someone, oh, so-and-so's going all clear across the country and is like super excited, not nervous. But I'm literally going, you know, across the Hudson River and I'm scared to death. And then they think something's wrong with them.
Exactly. It's, you know what, everybody processes change differently, but it's it's telling them that it's okay, whatever your way is to deal with this very big transition. I mean, it is traumatic, you know, that is okay, you know. And one of the things that I love, you know, once you get through that experience, is saying, I get to have a new experience, you know. I get to just go down the block, or I get to go across the country, or I get to make new friends.
Yeah.
And I get to sit next to Craig.
When it comes to the journey, parents just got to remember you're a parent and Sherpa. You got to guide them through it, right?
Yeah. There's no rule book. You know, we just don't get one of those.
All
we have
right,
to figure
Andrea,
things out.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it for sharing your insights with us this morning.